you are going to be the one that's going to be progressing yourself with the fasting. That's really important to understand. Progressing meaning you're going to decide when you want to challenge yourself more and push yourself. There's no right way or wrong way to do it. You can push yourself nice and slowly, take 6 weeks to get yourself there, or you can say, I'm going to go do it next week. And if you push yourself really fast, you either are or you're not going to be able to do it. And if you push yourself really fast, you probably won't be able to do it, but that's okay. As long as you keep a positive attitude, realize you made good progress and you beat it next time. That's really all that matters. Now, when we talk about fasting, we've already started getting into it, right? Actually, before we talk about fasting, weight loss plateaus. Have either of you think that you're in any sort of weight loss plateau? You read my section on all the weight loss plateau. Do either of you think you're in a weight loss plateau?
I don't think I am. My weight gain is related to menopause. So it's all the whole animal in itself, I think, for me.
As of the last 4 weeks, you've been gaining weight?
It's funny because I gained weight like the past 6 months. I haven't been gaining weight recently. So maybe it is a plateau in a way.
So you were gaining weight, and then the last 6 weeks, have you made changes trying to stop the weight gain and trying to lose weight the last 6 weeks?
I pay attention to what I eat. I have not been exercising. I actually did a lot of workouts, like very scheduled, stopped a few months ago. I do fast. I do this 8-16-16-8 fast. So I'm used to it, and that's it.
So do you happen to know how many calories that you think you average per day, or
It's funny because I don't count calories, but I would say that I probably do 1600.
it sounds like you've counted in the past, so you have some sort of idea.
Yes, yeah.
And
Yeah,
that,
I've been doing more of the macros more
yeah.
recently. So I do pay attention to how much I eat. I'm not hungry. So I think I eat less. I noticed that lately I've been craving sugar. It's like it's over the top. It's not normal for me.
What we're going to do for you, Joanne, is we're going to do a reset. I do want you to start counting again because only during the reset, and then we can stop. So
Yeah.
your caloric goal is going to be 1,700 a day. And then I want you to re-look at that section on the reset so that you're very familiar. The
Okay.
reset is like a mini program within my program. There's very specific directions for you to follow. You're going to be texting the FLOA hotline every single week at your weigh-in with some updates and working with us
Okay.
until we graduate you through the reset. Is that any questions on
Okay. No, that makks sense. I can
that?
do that.
Camila, is there any effort for you to lose weight or no, not really? The last 4 to 6 weeks.
I think that for me, I don't know. I feel like I definitely am at a very like stable point. I feel like whether it's gain or loss, that's not really a situation. I feel like for a while I've just been sitting at the same. So I did again, I like my active levels are not that high. I think for about 2 months I was like going pretty regularly to the gym and like checking in. I was definitely sticking on like a certain diet and like staying consistent with that. And I noticed that nothing was really changing in terms of like dropping.
6 weeks, have you been trying to lose weight?
But as of, I think for the past month, I would say no.
Yeah. Okay. So then you're fine. It sounds like you're not. And you've never counted your calories before ever?
I have, but not within the past like year or two.
Okay. If you had to guess how many calories you think you've been eating per day?
I don't know. I would probably say, I don't know, maybe 1500 around. I typically don't I think my thing is more snacking. I don't really know in terms of that. I think that I don't really eat meals. That's the one thing.
Yeah. So let's do the same thing that your mom's doing, just to be certain. Let's start you off at 1,700 as well.
Okay. Okay.
Each of you guys are going to have your own journey depending on what your body tells us week by week. So Camila, make sure you watch those all the videos on the forum, but specifically the most important section is going to be the weight loss plateau and the reset section. So I'm going to show you that again. I know you're busy, but in order for you to be successful, we're going to have to really get this in. So assessing the weight loss plateau. So there's a
Yeah.
video and then assessing the weight loss plateau.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So once we graduate you through the reset, then you can just continue on with the program. The only difference between the entire program, the way it is, and a reset is when it comes to fasting, which we're about to talk about now. There's 3 stages of fasting. The intermittent, Joanne, what you said you're already doing now, we call that stage 1. You can do stage 1 fasting during the reset, but you are not to go past stage 1 until we graduate you through the reset. That's the only caveat. That's the only thing. Don't go ahead or you're going to create more problems for both of you. Okay. So once we graduate you, then you can start progressing yourself through fasting. This is the magic of this program, is getting yourself to the point where you can start fasting for that, like we talked about, that 48 hours. And so past stage 1, stage 2 is being able to do a 24-hour fast. First, you do it once, and then you try to do it 3 days later. Once you can actually do it twice in a week, and you feel, okay, great, that was challenging, but I can do it. I can do more now. That's when you start progressing yourself to the longer fasting rounds. And the first time you do that's always going to be a big bump or a big hurdle. So the first time you go to bed after not having eaten all day, that's going to be a big deal, but it's a big leap, but once you wake up in the next morning, now you're already into that 30-something hour range. If you are starving in the morning and you can't, that first time you do it, that's fine. Document that. That's 30 plus hours. And then now you're in the stage where it's once a week. Once you get to that hump, that's a once a week thing. Do not do it more than once a week. And then every week you're trying to increase that till you can get to 48 hours. And then once you're at 48 hours, you just ride that. And obviously you guys are going to get some medications. And you guys are both getting tirzepatide and AOD?
Yes.
Okay. So I wouldn't start the tirzepatide until after the reset. There's really no point because you're suppressing your appetite when you're trying to eat more. The reset, we're trying to get you to eat more and more each week. So I would wait till you get that before you finish the reset, start those meds. And the meds are obviously going to make it a lot easier for you to fast longer and take a big leap as far as your progress with fasting. So any questions regarding, because you are going to be the one that's going to be progressing yourself with the fasting. That's really important to understand. Progressing meaning you're going to decide when you want to challenge yourself more and push yourself. There's no right way or wrong way to do it. You can push yourself nice and slowly, take 6 weeks to get yourself there, or you can say, I'm going to go do it next week. And if you push yourself really fast, you either are or you're not going to be able to do it. And if you push yourself really fast, you probably won't be able to do it, but that's okay. As long as you keep a positive attitude, realize you made good progress and you beat it next time. That's really all that matters.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. I've done the 24-hour fast, so I know it's doable. It's not a problem. I have to ask you something. With fasting, and especially the 48-hour fasting, what happens to your workouts? Do you do less? Do you do regular? Like if I have 2 days of HIIT and then weightlifting and a few other things scheduled. Do I need to coordinate those?
Yeah, a little bit. You don't want to do any high intensity or weightlifting during that 48 hours. So you're going to play with your schedule. The only real exercise for the first few months during that 48 hours is walking. In the future, you can become a little bit more metabolically flexible and learn and develop that ability to do it. But for the time being, do your high intensity, your weightlifting, all of that on the other 5 days.
Okay.
Nutrition, guys, this is obviously a big piece of this. When you're not fasting, right, you are reducing your consumption of processed foods, as you saw. So paleo Mediterranean is the choice because they're both devoid of processed foods. You want to do that time, right? That's where the 90-10 rule comes into play. And for the first couple months, we do want to go low carb keto just for about 2 months. And then I like to reintroduce carbohydrates after 2 months. Your body's stable, you're still losing weight, you start reintroducing carbs back. And if you're still losing weight, that's the idea. And now you're losing weight without being low carb, which is very sustainable, right? Low carb is not sustainable for most people.
Yeah.
But 2 months, most people can get behind that. Any questions on the fasting and or diet part? There's a whole section on breaking the fast. Definitely check that
Mhm.
out. It's pretty straightforward how to break your fast.
Yeah. I think I'm good. Yeah.
Cool, cool. The supplements, did you you guys saw there? I broke down the supplements into many categories.
Yes.
The essential, because there's so many supplements out there, and I'm not in that. I'm not in a business of trying to sell you guys a million supplements.
Mhm.
Really,
Yeah.
not my thing. I want to keep you guys in my weight maintenance group. That's my long-term goal. So I got to get you there first. The essential supplements is the bare minimum of what you should be taking. I provided a link there where you can purchase it. Literally magnesium, vitamin D, essential fatty acids, fish oil,
Mhm.
electrolytes, some pretty basic stuff that are very vital,
Yeah.
especially when you start
Yeah.
fasting. You're going to be eating less often.
Yeah. Yeah. I ordered the electrolytes for both of us. I
Good.
actually take almost, I think everything that you have on the, I have a very low vitamin D, so I have to take it. And then magnesium, I've been taking it. And I think, Camila, you have some magnesium. You just have to tell me which one, because I bought for both of us at one point. I just have to check which one you have and which one, because you were talking about both the G and the T,
Yeah,
to take whatever their names are.
yep, yep. Because the GLP-1 kind of slows things down, so it's nice to have some extra magnesium. And just watch your diarrhea. If you're having diarrhea all the time, then just decrease the magnesium dose a little bit.
Yeah. For some reason, I don't think magnesium affects me that way. I don't know. It's
That's good. Then the threonate and the glycinate, if you're taking the full dose that I recommend while on the GLP-1s, that's great.
okay, good. And I'll figure out the whatever you need. You were talking about the greens, and we actually were talking about buying greens for her.
Good.
I've been taking the AP greens that you mentioned also.
Good.
So I might as well get them for her also.
I do have a greens powder. I'm not sure if that's like I
Yeah.
mix it
Yeah,
into
yeah,
my
yeah.
water. Okay, yeah.
Fantastic. Okay, good. The rest of the supplements are situational, right? So the extra appetite suppressing supplements, the reason why I recommend having at least one of them, and my favorite is the Unamate, you're not going to be going through a $200 kit every month. No, that's not the case.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're not doing that. I just want you to have it there for situational times where, because
Okay.
you just can't take more tirzepatide whenever you want. So
Yeah.
it's nice to have those there. If you're going to be naughty, if you're going to go out, or if you're struggling one day, you could take some of the Unamate, which is really good, and the balance too as well.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, good. Since we talked about working out, we can just finish that loop too as well. Resistance training is hands down the most important form of exercise. Resistance training. So make sure that's your primary source. After that, you can add some high intensity. And then my least favorite is that kind of steady state cardio where you're on the elliptical or I'm not saying that's bad. It's just that's the least effective form.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No, we all want to do it. I would rather you be getting your weightlifting in by significantly more important.
Mm-hmm.
And then finally, stress and sleep. These are big categories if they're issues. If they're not issues, then they're not issues. But do either of you guys feel like you're dealing with lack of quality sleep would be 7 hours of good quality sleep. Do either of you guys not get that?
Yeah. Yeah, I think both of us. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and if it's already an issue now, it might get worse. When you start
Mhm.
pushing
Yeah.
a lot, there is some response from the body where your body is like, during the day you feel better, but then it could create some restlessness at night. So if
Mm-hmm.
it's already an issue, then you guys need to work on that ASAP. So in that case, I would recommend the sleep supplements for a short-term solution. And then the
Mm-hmm.
long-term solution is implement those sleep strategies. And I have videos about that on Flow University.
Okay. I'll look for that.
Yeah, look for those because they're really easy. It's just things you do to your sleep environment.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Stress, do either of you guys feel like you have extra levels of stress in your life? Yeah.
I think we were born with anxiety. It's
So then I would recommend the supplements as well, short-term solution. They're called
yeah.
adaptogen herbs. Those are on my form. But then
Yeah.
same thing. Like I'm not trying to put you on supplements for life. So now stress management is different. With sleep, you're just trying to implement a bunch of different things to your environment. It's like a one-time change. With stress, the solution is choosing a stress management technique and then staying consistent with one technique. So you guys are gonna have to choose something. I do breath work. I'm not a fan of yoga, but I am a fan of breath work. So that's what I do. And I do it 5 minutes closer to bedtime almost every night. But there's so many out there: breath work, journaling, drawing. There's all these apps, right? You just got to pick one and stay consistent with it. Both of these things, lack of quality sleep, stress, what they do is they create cortisol spikes. And that could be problematic. And you can't measure, you can, but it's really expensive and it's honestly not worth it to test. So we do have to be a little bit subjective here and do our best. Sometimes you're doing this and you're like, I can't tell if it's doing anything. Do it for a couple months, see what happens. Ideally, everybody could probably benefit for doing it for life. But what I'm going to say for you, so you don't feel the stress of it, is if your weight loss starts to stall and you're not doing this, then let's look at that. But at least do your best to see if you can implement a 5-minute stress management technique for at least for the starting point, and then we can see what happens in terms of the future.